This is Super Saiyan 4!
Alright guys, Season 2 of Gekishin Squadra has begun, and with that, we have the new hero, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, who is a tank character, and as you can see by the information on the left, he is a mid-difficulty character with very high strike and energy resistance, and he's going to be able to put up some decent damage numbers, but again, he is a tank, and his focus really is tanking, blocking damage, getting his barrier out, and I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about him in this video, so stick around. We'll show some gameplay of him at the end. So let's get right into it. So starting off, he of course is transforming. He transforms from base GT Vegeta to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and like pretty much every transforming character aside from Cell, he will transform at level 7. It's going to increase his base HP, it's going to up all of his attack power, and it's also going to give him his Solitary Guardian effect bonus. Now his passive, Solitary Guardian, is a self-strengthening ability, so it's going to apply strike defense up to himself when he forcibly moves an enemy hero with a skill not including his barrier wall, which we'll get to later. But basically all this means is whenever you are displacing enemies, which is what you're going to be doing with this character, he's going to get strike defense up, and he's going to be able to tank even more than he already can. Moving over to his basic rush attack, it is just a basic melee rush attack, similar to SS1 Goku, SS1 Vegeta, similar in range. Not, I think it's a little bit bigger than SS1 Vegeta, but it's not as big as nearly as big as Topo. But again, it is just a very basic rush attack. It becomes powered up with increased damage for a set period when he forcibly moves an enemy with a skill, not including the barrier wall. You're going to notice that he is going to be a displacement character, and he gets buffs for displacing, but it is not going to include the barrier wall skill. So pretty much all you do is displace them, and you're going to get a bonus in damage. Taking a look at his skill 1 blast jump, it is a relatively simple skill. It does not go as far. Think of it kind of like Super Saiyan 3 Goku's dive slam, but it does not go nearly as far. You do not really get to change the distance. It is a set distance, but you can do it in any direction. And Vegeta's just going to jump forward, slam on the ground, and it has 2 hits. It has the first hit, which is the actual slam on the ground itself, and then there is a secondary hit after the slam, and it's going to pull enemies towards the center of where the slam was. Now this does count as displacing, so that means it's going to give you those bonuses on his passive and his rush attack after you use this ability, so you're going to want to lead with this ability in combat. The skill 2 is Meteor Extrusion, and it is another displacement skill just like the skill 1, but this one is a little different. He basically does a dive kick forward, and it's going to push himself and all enemies forward. Again, this does count as displacement, and it also staggers and deals extra damage to enemies when they're driven into a wall, so you're going to want to try to push them into walls with this if possible, but if you can't, that's totally okay. It's also a good move to get enemies off of your teammate, so if your teammate is about to die and say your skill 3 barrier wall, which we're about to talk about, is on cooldown, you can use Meteor Extrusion to kind of push yourself and your enemies away from your allies and give them a better chance to get out of combat. The skill 3 is probably his best ability and his main focus, and it is barrier wall, so I'm just going to read this block of text because it's the best way to explain it. Vegeta creates a barrier in front of him and drives back enemies in an attack. He can move and redirect the barrier while it's active. It will block flying energy attacks, AoE attacks excluded, apply no obstruction to him, and grant extra HP. It obtains a greater amount of extra HP the higher the maximum total HP is. So the higher his HP is, it's going to give you more bonus HP, which basically just means you're getting more bonus HP once you're transformed as Super Saiyan 4. The attack ends when the command is re-entered or the extra HP runs out. It can also end, there is a timer. It is very long. This skill can be up for a very long time, but it'll either run out because of the timer, it'll run out because of the extra HP will run out, or you can also just use skill 3 again to end it early and reduce that cooldown time, because it does have a pretty long cooldown. Re-entering the command does shorten the cooldown for the skill, and the shorter the skill's active time, the greater the cooldown reduction, which is very nice. So if you only have it out for 1 or 2 seconds, it's going to have a very short cooldown, but if you do have it out for pretty much as long as it can be out, it's going to take upwards of 10 seconds or even more. I think the highest I've seen it is like 11 to 12 seconds at level 8, which is a lot of cooldown, but again, this is a very good ability and it's very big. It basically just blocks almost all incoming damage. You can push people with it, your allies can still attack through it, stand behind you, attack through it. and you can move and change the direction of the wall as well. So, and I'll kind of show how that works once we get into the actual match. And for Vegeta Super, it is of course Final Shine Attack, his signature attack when he's in his Super Saiyan 4 state, and it is a very basic ult. It's not really a necessarily good ult. I mean, I think it's good, but it's not a damage ult. You should not be using this in a situation where you want to get a lot of damage off. You're better off displacing and getting your damage off that way and supporting your team with the barrier rather than shooting this off to try and get kills. The best use for this is it is a displacement attack, just like all of his other attacks. And think of it similar to Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Kamehameha, where it'll shoot out and you can change the direction of it left and right. But instead of doing a lot of damage, it's going to push enemies back, and it's going to keep displacing them further and further back as long as it's being shot out, which is very nice. You can use it to save your team and get the enemy off of you. You can use it to push enemies off of your tower, or push enemies off of their own tower so your team has a chance to get some burst damage off. There's a lot more uses to this. It looks like it would be a damage ult, but it is more of a utility ult in my opinion, and it really does not do that much damage. It can clean up kills, but again, save it, use it as a utility ult first. Alright, so we're in a training match. I'm just going to kind of run through and show some of the stuff that I want to show with him. But first, of course, his melee attack, his rush attack. It is very basic, you know, pretty much the standard melee attack that every other character has, and that's not even really a bad thing. And we're going to take a look at his skill 1 here at level 1. So as you can see, it does not have that big of a range, but you can do it in any direction, and as you can see, it will pull them towards the center. And it does this for NPCs and allies, which is very nice. Now let's look at the skill 2. So as you can see, you can send this in any direction, and it does not go very far at first, but once you level it up, it will go further. And this is going to displace as well. It does not do that much damage, but it is a really good displacement tool, as well as a good way to get enemies off of your allies. And really quickly, before I kill the Kai, we're going to take a look at his barrier. So as you can see, it kind of comes out like this, and you can start it in any direction. It's going to look like this. You can turn it. It is very, very slow. But as you can see, we get extra HP. It does run out eventually, but we do get extra HP while using it. And you can also cancel it at any time. So as you can see, I can pretty much cancel it immediately and reduce the cooldown by half. Alright, and now that we're level 7, let's go ahead and show off his transformation.
Long last, I've ascended.
Pretty cool transformation animation. And we also are have the skill 1 and the skill 2 at level 2. So as you can see, the skill 1 does get a lot bigger. Same attack, just more radius, more damage. And pretty much the same thing for the skill 2. It does go longer, it does go further, does do more damage, and it is a little bit faster, I believe. And the barrier wall at level 2, all it does is get bigger and have more damage. But as you can see, even at level 2, this is already a very, very large barrier. And we can go ahead and show off his ultimate at level 1. I will use it on these enemies just to show how it displaces them. But you can move it kind of like the Super Saiyan 3 Goku Beam, and again, it does displace enemies, it pushes them back, so use it as a utility rather than a damage super. And this is going to be a good spot to show off the max level skill 1, which it does get very, very large, as you can see. And we can just throw that down. It does a good chunk of damage, and it also pulls them towards the center. It's going to be good for getting, you know, those chase kills from people who are just barely alive, trying to run away, pull them back in, do the final hit, and yeah, it's going to be good for pulling people back in. Now let's check out the level, or the max level skill 2. So as you can see, it gets way, way wider and further. And it does quite a bit more damage, but still not too much damage. Again, his abilities, he is a tank character, keep in mind. So he is going to not be doing as much damage as DPS characters. He can still do a decent amount of damage, but just, again, keep in mind, his main goal is to displace and support the damage that he's with and his the damage character he's with and the allies that you're playing with. And now we have the skill 3 at level 3, the barrier. So as you can see, it gets way, way bigger. I mean, this really does just cover the entire lane. You can push enemies up, you can bounce enemies back, bunch of cool stuff. It's a very good tool for saving your teammates, but also pushing up on the enemy, because you can just pop this, have your enemy stay behind you and shoot, and they can't really do anything about it. Now we can show off the ultimate at level 2, which again, it's not really that much different from the level 1 ult. It's going to do more damage. It does last a little bit longer, but again, it is just a level 1 to level 2 ult. It's not that different. And finally, we do have the ult at level 3, so again, it's still similar. It does get a lot bigger with the max level, but again, lasts the same amount of time as level 2. Probably does a little bit more damage, but again, it's a utility. You want to get people away with it and not necessarily pull people in for damage. You want to use it as a either get off my team tool, because, you know, it's better to run away and recoup than it is to die and wait 30 seconds or longer, depending on how far you are in the match. Or use it as a get off the tower tool. Get off my tower, stop doing damage, or get off, you know, push them off their own tower so your team can do damage. That's probably the best use of it so far that I've seen and that I've done, is using it to push the enemy off of their tower so they can't protect it, and then the team runs in and does burst damage while they are pushed off and can't get back on because of the ultimate going off. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be it for the Vegeta guide. He is a more relatively simple character. I know a lot of his stuff is like, it seems complicated, but it's really not. You just kind of throw your abilities out, get the displacement, and then support from there. Do damage if you need to do damage. Throw the barrier up if you need to protect your team, or just push up in general. But yeah, that is how you can play Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I have seen so far, just from me playing, he is very good when he's with Toppo, because Toppo can just kind of shoot all of his stuff through. He can shoot his skill 1 and spin his skill 2 through the barrier and then get tick damage off that way. So that's a good combo I've seen. And then of course, once the barrier goes down, Toppo can do his counter and just obliterate them with a bunch of damage. But yeah, again, that is how Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta works. Let me know if this video was useful. I'm going to keep making these as they come out. Ultimate Gohan comes out in 2 weeks, and Z Broly comes out next month. So expect more guides and videos about those characters when they release. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.